Hold on. Are we going live? We are going live.
We going live.
Oh, we are live.
We
We going or we
going
not?
live.
We are. I think we are.
Life is live.
Life is live, and so life is live, and so are we. So
Hmm.
great afternoon, because it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon here in London town.
Yeah,
What is
it
it like?
is 9 a.m.
9
9 a.m. Central Standard Time,
9
day CDT
a.m.
in the
Oh,
daylight hours
is that too early on a Sunday? You think?
on a Sunday for me, I'm always up
Yeah.
by 6:30. I'm up at
Mm,
6:30 if I'm getting up late, I think.
yeah. Really?
But
Okay. So for
7,
the for the
7:30.
for the early birds, it's a good time to
Mm-hmm.
come and join us and talk about. What did
9
I do?
o'clock.
I went to put something in the description, and I said the description says shooting the shit about life and growth games.
Nice. Yeah, if you're not, it's Sunday. If you're not up by 9 a.m., you better get up and get on here with us. Wake up.
Yay! It's a good way to wake up, right? Yeah.
Right?
My morning went by super fast because I think I didn't wake up till 11. So
Nice. That's
yeah,
not bad.
no,
I
it
woke
was
up
a long.
probably 5:30, 6:30, something
Wow,
somewhere in between
kind of
there.
early.
Yeah,
Nice,
just
nice.
like I
Wow,
need to drink water. I need to go to the bathroom. I need things to start working. I gotta
that's
get
that
up.
wagging.
Yeah,
Everybody's like, "Come up,
yeah, gotta get up.
gotta get up."
Yeah,
Um,
that's the
there is.
thing.
I got something for us to talk about because
Cool.
I was doing a podcast on Thursday, and I wanted to talk about it, and I did talk about it, but my computer and my internet went no,
Oh, really?
and it just disappeared into the ether.
Into the
So
ether.
yeah, totally. Off it's gone, never to be found or rescued or, pulled back down off the cloud or any of that shit. It's just gone. Bye bye. But the topic is still in my head, so I wanted to run it. I wanted to, I wanted to talk about it, and yeah, let's have a chat. So
Let's do it.
I was watching a documentary, right? Because am going through a phase of like just loving documentaries. So I was watching this documentary called Pray Away. And
Pray away.
basically, yeah, it's pretty nuts. The whole story's pretty nuts. I think it was on Netflix, but if you're a smart internet person, you can find it anyway. But a thing's called Pray Away, and the premise of this documentary is telling the story of. It's actually an American-based documentary where they were talking about something called conversion therapy, which basically means there are certain Christian ministries that believe that you could pray away your homosexuality.
Hmm.
And there was a whole movement called ex-gay, and people who kind of really devoted themselves to God and decided to, in devoting themselves to God, kind of just totally rejected that side of themselves that they believed was homosexual. Anywho, so there's that side of it. And then the parallel side to it are the people who grew up within that movement, but came out of that movement quite traumatized.
Mm.
Um, and basically, some of them self harmed. And there was a very interesting story. A girl who was a journalist, and she used to write. She was basically she grew up as an advocate for this movement. Um, of Christian conserv this type of ministry, and she was an advocate for it. She grew up, and but there was always something. So in the end, she kind of just reached a point of self acceptance. Obviously, not as simple as I'm putting it, but
Mm-hmm.
She went through a lot, and she reached a level of self-acceptance and moved away from that movement. And then it showed her story of how she went through it. She ended up married to this other amazing lesbian woman, their wedding, and they're actually both very religious. Like, they have a good relationship with God. They go
Mm-hmm.
to a church that accepts homosexual people, and and the whole God is love thing. So I'm not touching that with a barge pole, because that's a hornet's nest of shit, right? That's not at all what I'm like, whatever, people, you do you, because I'm a live and let live girl.
Right.
Like, you do you, people, really, like, really, really, you do you. But the thing that really struck me that I wanted to talk about was that polarity. Is that the word? Polarity?
Right. Polarity.
Of that polarity of, I believe one thing. So you saw these people that they believed, they embraced their sexuality, and they also embraced their relationship with God. And they found a community that believed the same thing. And
Mm-hmm.
then you had the other side of the pole,
Mm-hmm.
where they believed that their connection with God could cure them, for want of a better word, of their homosexuality. And
Mm-hmm.
there were people on that side. They had a really strong community. You could tell they genuinely, they weren't like, it wasn't hateful, it wasn't like vindictive. You could tell in their heart
Mm-hmm.
that was their truth. And that's what I loved about the documentary. It wasn't trying to make anyone right or wrong. It was just showing you these two sides of the story, where these people truly believed that what they were doing was the right thing, and they connected. And the same with the the conversion therapy movement. There were young people, and it's a modern movement, because the older version of the movement kind of collapsed, but there's now a growing modern movement of it, version of it. And when you see the community that they had, and the love that they had for each other, and the support that they gave to each other, for wanting to have that connection with God and separate themselves from that sexuality that they thought was a problem, right? So for me, my thing was, what if you could just get to the point where you just stay in your fucking lane, right? Like, because you find each other, because that's the other thing. This whole, I believe something, and I have to convert other people, I don't understand that, because they had their community. Like, they had their community of people who wanted to be there, and that was the thing that struck me. Both sides had the community that believed it, that it was in their heart, it was their truth,
Mm-hmm.
and they were together in that truth.
Mm-hmm.
So just leave people alone. The thing
Sure.
that struck me was why they then had to make each other enemies. And I was like, so that was my thing that I wanted to talk about. What if we could just get to a place as human beings where I find my people, and I'm here with my people, doing my thing in love and connection, and you find your people, and you're
Sure.
over there doing your thing in love and connection, and we leave each other the fuck alone because we don't agree. Do you know what I mean? I'm like, what's the goddamn problem? Because they wouldn't ever hang out. Do
Uh,
you know what I mean?
right. They're not gonna mix.
They, they're not going to mix, they're not going to hang out, they do not agree. But it really struck me like a bolt, like a lightning bolt kind of.
Right.
But you have each other, so why do you have to make them your enemy? You have each other, you all agree, and you could feel the love in their separate communities. So just
Right.
stay over there where your love's at.
I. It's a good question. I
What is that about?
I've been interestingly connected to the energy of your extremely long question. Um,
It was a long question,
the
wasn't it?
it's a good
You're
one.
such a patient
It's
man, Jonathan.
it's
Such a
it's it's
patient
it's a really good one. I'm on coffee cup number two. Um,
man.
the Interestingly enough to the good question, I was thinking about like what am I focused on connecting like with and through and around people like right now
Right.
lately,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I found the answer in the last couple days to be, well, the thing that I connect with people around right now is like arguing
Ah,
about like
okay.
if there's a common connection, it's the conversations, and the conversations are limited to um health, like, you know,
Ah,
just the health and the and can we go out, do we wear masks, and
yes.
are we injecting
Are you
ourselves, and
vaccinated?
are you getting your injections, and
Yeah.
is there a passport to make sure that you have them to
That's
go
another one.
places,
Yeah.
and these few come. I was thinking, and it was like, no, the only thing we do is talk about these four things right now,
Yeah.
and this is all people want to do, and I'm just, I'll go days without talking to people just to not have those
Not
conversations,
have this. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
in a healthy way of, I'm tired of those conversations. I can have those conversations really well, and I want to have those conversations with people that are going to be respectful no matter where they're coming from, no matter where I'm coming from.
Right.
We can have a
Right.
respectful conversation about, you know,
Yeah.
feelings
Yeah.
around any of these topics. But if we're not
Yeah.
going to have a respectful conversation around these topics, I'm not going to have it, because I'm going to have a
Mm,
respectful boundary around it, and
yeah.
and hold that, and, you know, make sure that people stay respectful in that. And
Yeah.
if not, we can do something different. And most
Yeah.
people aren't doing something different than that, is my experience right now. So
Yeah.
to
Yeah. I
answer,
get it. I get it.
like, to
Yeah.
answer your question, it's like the, why could, like, to think about someone is doing something different and I disagree with it, and
Uh-huh.
I don't come from the let's strike them down for whatever they're doing that we're not doing place. Um,
Yeah.
but there's just this trigger response of, if you're doing something and it's not what I'm doing, then we're not uh, we're enemies because we don't
It's a
agree on
problem. Yeah.
stuff.
It's a problem
You
because we
know,
don't agree on stuff. Yeah, absolutely. That seems to be
it's like the
a
training we've gotten the
general
last year.
consciousness. Yeah, it's a general consciousness right now. It's a real them and us, and you got to pick sides. And if you don't pick sides, then you're naive or
Mm-hmm.
irresponsible. I think I've been called the naive, the irresponsible, the you got to pick a side. I pick my side. That's the side I pick.
Hey, pick whatever side you want,
I pick my side. You pick you
man.
whatever side you want, and I'm gonna pick my side. That's the side I pick. I don't know. And the other thing that just popped into my head is, would that then be, because my what if of you stay over there in your group of people that agree with you, and you stay over there in your group of people that agree with you, and you don't make enemies of each other's groups, does that then mean that we get into a situation where we're incapable of communicating with people who don't agree with us?
I think a lot of people that I know are already there,
We're already there.
and um, because I don't I like to think that I make up my own mind based on my experience and, you know, what I see in the world, and
Yeah.
I that should also mean that I'm open to new information, and as new data comes to light, I can make different decisions because I'm a learning thing. I'm constantly growing and trying to do better, better, best. And
Yes, nice. I like
it's
that. Better, better, best.
I mean that should be the goal, without beating myself up and being a tyrant. I should be improving all the time, or you know, I might be missing the deal. Um,
Right.
but I think people in the last year and a half, we've had, some real systematic training in how to disagree. Here's some new, fresh, hot topics to disagree on. And we're
Yeah.
going to make sure that we really politicize or grandize uh, the stage so that these are character defining decisions. And if
Yeah.
um, you can't stand too close to somebody that says the other side of what you're saying, because if you pick the
I
other side of what you're saying, there's these people, they eat your babies.
Oh my.
And if you know what's funny, like if you don't agree, they eat your babies too. Like,
Yeah.
and
And it leaves
I
no,
don't.
it leaves no space for like. I know I'm probably oversimplifying it, but I feel like I need to oversimplify it because we've gone to the other extreme of it.
Mm-hmm,
It it doesn't leave space for stuff like, oh, I learned something different, so now I changed my mind.
mm-hmm.
Because that's what happens with these groups on both sides. So there's some
Well,
people
we
on that
flop.
group that
Yeah.
says I've learned some new stuff and I've changed my mind, and they went over there. And the
Mm-hmm,
same over here. I learned some new stuff and I changed my mind. Let me go over here. And
mm-hmm.
I feel like that is life. Like, apart from maybe your football team, like you change your mind about loads of shit, don't you?
Right. Well, you'd think that. Well, let me say this. I'm fascinated even at the audacity that I have sometimes to think that I know everything. So I
Oh
can
goodness gracious.
I can only imagine someone who like doesn't have it put together a little bit like I do. I'm not.
Yeah, yeah,
I don't. I'm by no means perfect in anything in any way, but
yeah.
man, I'm constantly
But you
wishing
have a
and praying
conviction,
and
yeah, no, I know those.
I'm
Like I know,
meditating
yeah,
on my own community and life improvement, and
yeah,
um,
yeah.
somebody who might not be doing that, like I could only imagine, like I think I know it all sometimes, man. The entitlement and just think that we know everything problem. If
Yeah.
everybody could wake up every day and realize we know a fraction of a percent of a fraction percent of all of it, and we're lucky to be bumbling around and finding enough water every day just to
Yeah,
stay
yeah,
alive, and we're like not grateful for most of it. Ugh. um
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
it,
know, right?
it's there's so many. It's exactly the thing that when you asked this question and then I started just talking. There's so many things that we could talk about, connect on, share, listen,
Totally,
go
totally.
back and forth. There's so many things that the people are interested in and whatever. And it comes down to four like conversations. And did you get your shots? And are you going to? And what do you think about the passport? And like, oh my God, you're still traveling. I can't believe you're traveling right now.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
there's
yeah.
there's
How do
who
you switch that conversation when you're in it?
I'll be real honest. I have the conversation with people like you who I know you can have your opinion, I can have mine, we can have a discussion, and at the end of it, there'll be love. Um,
Yeah,
I have the conversation with that kind of circle of people, or I don't have it.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I think it's safety wise best to uh I can you can have any opinion in my space, but sometimes certain opinions like hurt other people in their space. And I'm
Mm,
trying to be real aware of how my words and my character beliefs, whatever you want to call them, like the thing is there's just a few things that like did you or will you, do this or that we're going with right now. And
yeah.
but surrounding, the pandemic mainly and closures and opening and whatever. But just surrounding that life, if I see the world, like if I'm watching the media, if I'm reading between the lines, you do this or you don't do this, you believe this or you don't believe this, and that's supposed to define our characters, like
Mm,
as if
yeah, yeah,
if you're doing one thing, you're doing the greater good for
yeah.
yourself
Right.
and all the people. But
Yeah,
if you don't do the
yeah.
thing, then you're selfish and
Oh yeah,
you're going
we
to do
have
this and this
exactly
and
the
this.
same messaging here. Yeah, we have exactly the same messaging. It's like do this. It's there's even like on our tubes, there's a message of um please wear the mask, covering your nose and mouth when you're on public transport. It's for the good of us all, type things. Blah
Right.
blah blah. Okay, cool. Whatever. Um, but my thing is like when we focus on these issues as if they are the be all and end all. Like you can't have
Mm-hmm.
another conversation. You then have to kind of evict this person from your life because they don't agree with you, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And then a couple months down the line, the rules change, the status quo's change, life. Because if one thing this entire 18 months has taught me is the world keeps turning, man. So
Yeah.
stop being stuck on shit that might not matter in a couple months,
Right.
and I can't remember where I got that from. Well, it's two things. It's that saying about not making a permanent decision in a temporary frame of mind or something like that.
Mm, it's a good one.
And like how when the emotion is high, the intelligence is low, so all these
Mm-hmm.
things come to my head. So and then the third thing is like, yeah, how important is this gonna be? Like
Mm-hmm.
if I have friends that are, one of my best friends, in fact, and bless her, is a complete conspiracy theorist. She's like got them down. She can connect the dots. And I'm like, honey, that's fantastic. If that's your deal, that's your deal. Like, I am not gonna spend time here with you. I'm just not,
Right.
but I'm also not gonna throw away like 10 something years of friendship because
Right.
this is where she is now, because I know it's a reaction to the circumstance of the world now. It's not a
Right.
judgment of her character.
Right.
you know she's responding to this situation and to these messages and the choice she's made is to believe that. I'm like, and I know this woman's heart, so I'm not gonna just say, oh, you're an idiot because I'm just gonna say, I'm not going there. And we have had conversations where I explained to her why I'm not going there, why for me and my personal choice it is not best beneficial for me to go down the conspiracy line because it makes me a victim of my life and
Mm-hmm.
circumstances. I can't have that because I won't function.
Right.
So I don't miss where she's at and what she's chosen to believe. I just explain to her this is why what you chose would never work for me.
Mm-hmm.
And we
Right.
leave it at that. We still
That's
go,
where
we
you
still
can
hang
be.
out, do stuff, we still, but it's kind of like we just don't have that particular conversation. And if it comes up and she's telling me new parts of this conspiracy, I'm like, okay, So now I know. Thank you. I just not. I think you have to learn to kind of, you know,
uh,
that beautiful thing that men are able to do where they can compartmentalize,
right.
things and say, well, this hasn't got anything to do with that. So we're just gonna leave that over there. And that's what I do. I'm just gonna leave that over there
Yeah,
because that's not, like
if
you
there's
said, it's
not a
not the
connection,
character. It's not, it's
if
just about,
there's
it's just a response to now. And
yeah,
and that will change.
somebody I was I do so much, like I'm on my phone like far too much. My phone is my greatest asset. It's also my greatest like time waster. And
Yeah.
the I some of the great
Eve.
part of what I remember from the last week. Um, there's a video, and it was talking about uh, purposeful multitasking, having
Ooh.
three, four, five, big hobby passions, income streams.
Yeah.
If our lives were truly perfectly designed by ourselves,
Yeah.
um, I think that it most likely looks like you have fun doing five or six different things. So you figured out five or six different ways to make money involving
Oh,
the
okay.
five or six things that you like doing.
Uh-huh.
So you like writing, you like taking pictures, you like traveling, you like hanging out, having parties with your friends, and you like exotic experiences. So cool, a la you're in Club Secret and you have your life and your blog and your brand and your whatever. Um,
Yeah.
bless you.
Thank you.
Um, but if you have your fivers, and then you're a speaker, and then you're a presenter, and then you're uh, have a two, uh, webinar series that stem off of the thing that you drive all your business to, and blah blah blah. So your life, you
Okay.
look like Matt Morris online, right?
Ah, nice. So yeah, they're all connected and they're in alignment with who you say you are and what you do, and it's all
Yeah, and you got like
yeah,
you. It's easy to move between what am I doing all day, instead of thinking that because I look at my phone and it's like, wait a second, and I work on my phone. I have apps open, making money on my phone for
yeah,
6, 8, 10, 12 hours a day sometimes. And in between those hours, I'll still be on my phone outside of hours that I'm working. So I'm on my phone for 14, 16 hours a day.
yeah. Okay.
Like that seems a little excessive.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Right? Like
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, yeah.
I'm here on the computer for the stream today, and
Yeah.
I saw Ernesto pop up in the chat. Happy
Yay!
birthday, Ernesto.
Happy
Um,
belated birthday, hermano! How old are
right?
you? 25 again?
He wishes. We all wish that.
Who
I
really
wish
wants to
that
be
for him.
25 again, bro?
Yeah,
I really want to be
that's
25 again.
that's like the nicest thing I think at 44 years old. I think that's the nicest thing I could do now from now on. Is I honestly wish every time I wish people happy birthday that they are 25 again. I wish for that for everybody every time. And I wish you were 25 for just one more day. Uh,
I know. I think I'm cool with being 40 odd.
it's not a bad bag.
I think it's a better time.
Is it a better time now?
It's a way better time. Yeah, 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 yeah.
I, if I could go back and be coming out of college at mid 20s and have perspective on life in a much bigger way. You know,
Yeah,
having seen two or three cycles since then, I
yeah.
would I would play the game bigger, more often, more ways, and
Oh, for sure, for sure, for sure, for
you
sure.
know, and that's what
That's
I'm
that.
doing now.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But if that's the
What's
difference
that thing
between
about the that old people say? Youth is wasted on the youth, or some shit.
oh something's wasted on the youth.
Yeah.
43 never lies about his age. 43, 43. 143,
No,
143.
no.
That's awesome.
Yeah. No, I love being grown. Being grown is awesome. Being
I
grown is cool.
I get like I'm in that perfect age where it's like I belong everywhere. I'm not too old to be places. I'm not too young to be places. It's like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, he's
Well, I had a funny experience a couple of years back. It was the first time. So we went to like an cultural event with Leon's Manhood Academy team,
mm-hmm.
and they were doing yeah, it was a fundraising event. And I met a couple of amazing young people. One of them was a dancer. Um, she did like a part of the show. And she was amazing. So when she came off stage, we were on the break, we were having a drink, and I was saying to her, "You were amazing," and she was like, "Oh, thank you, Auntie." Because in our culture, like to you respectfully refer to elders as Auntie, and I was like, "What the fuck? Like I'm an auntie now? No, my youth is over."
Yeah,
And I couldn't say "Don't call me Ashley" because I knew she was being respectful, right? But it was
right.
it was a shock to the system. I was like, oh damn, I've crossed the auntie bridge.
He did.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I get it a little bit, but probably not as much.
Yeah.
We'll say Mr. or Mrs. in front of,
Yeah, yeah,
or
yeah.
everybody says Miss, like here in Texas and in the South a lot of
Uh-huh.
times. Like you'll
Yeah.
you'll you'll be Miss Yvette and
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got that in the States too, that I was
like
missing
Miss
that.
Gale.
Yeah,
Um, that happens a lot as women get older. Men,
yeah,
young men and older men, especially in the South, will just say Miss whatever your first name is.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
they're not going to call you Miss Franklin. They'll call you Miss Yvette.
yeah, Miss Yvette, yeah.
Hmm. That's. But go to Nevada and California, and you don't get that as
Right,
much.
yeah.
You
That's
don't
a
get
whole
it.
part of
Yeah, I
yeah.
mean, I'm sure it's dispersed everywhere, but it's just in the South. It's like in Louisiana. It's like, oh my
Yeah,
gosh, you everybody knows everybody's first names because they're constantly calling them Mr. and Mrs. whoever their first name is.
yeah. Right, right, right. Yeah, yeah,
Mr.
yeah. Yeah,
Paul,
it's
Mr.
very
Tom.
prevalent in the Caribbean culture and in the especially West Africa. I'm not so much sure about the other parts of Africa, but West Africa and in the
Hmm.
Caribbean, it's very much older women are called auntie, and older men are called uncle, and
Hmm.
that's just it. You don't even have to know their name.
Uh-huh.
And just auntie and uncle. And I remember explaining it to a kind of like a white English friend, and she was like, "Yeah, but you don't know them." And I was like, "Yeah, it doesn't matter if you don't know them. They're older than you, and that's it."
You know what's funny is this exists in American culture, but it's in
Ah,
Hawaii.
okay.
Like go to Hawaii, and this is the culture of the
Yeah,
Hawaiian people.
yeah. They do the auntie uncle thing too.
They do auntie uncle, and
Yeah, yeah,
it's theirs. It's not
yeah.
but that's like you're in that or you're not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if that's how it goes where you're from, but I'm just
Oh
your.
yeah, totally. Yeah. You're in it or you're not. Yeah, absolutely. It's not
If
for
he call you
everybody.
auntie,
I
he's
know.
allowed to call you
I'm
auntie.
not calling old white women auntie.
Right. Oh, and
That
then
is not happening unless they're like, white African women or white, Caribbean women. Then yes, they're aunties
there's
too.
there's people that uh there's always people that don't look like they're part of the club, but they are still
Oh,
because
absolutely,
of
absolutely.
affiliation.
Yeah,
Like there's
yeah.
TikTok is a funny thing that I still don't have my own account, but I watch TikTok and
You do. I hate TikTok.
I watch TikTok and I'm just being honest about who I am. So I don't even have a TikTok account, but because of what do you call it, Instagram and live
Yeah,
feeds and
they kind of feed each other, don't they? Yeah, and Facebook
all the things
feeds
that we
it.
share. So I get that a lot of it's coming from TikTok, and
Yes.
I
Yeah.
have about a 90-second uh, span of attention. So like
Ah,
40-second
that's
things.
what I hate about it. Like
Yeah,
I hate that speed of it. That's the thing that makes me go,
yeah,
oh please, that hurts my brain. Like it's too much, too fast. And I try and explain to my son why I hate it, and he's like, "Yeah,
yeah,
but it's different content, and they're talking about different things." And I was like, "No, but I get that they're talking about different things, but they all format it in what my brain sees as like hyper,
yeah,
like yeah, like I just
yeah.
can't.
Well, if you don't if you're not careful and you just let the algorithm bombard you with more things,
Yeah,
um,
yeah, yeah.
it gets way too overwhelming.
Right.
And and I was sick for, like you said, just that feeling, down and not doing much. I was on the couch. I stayed in bed for a day or two. Like I was proper. Like it's. I'll say this. Um, Being sick, it in and after whatever COVID-19 is, um,
Uh-huh.
getting sick now, it's a whole different experience. It's like, oh my God, but wait, do I need to go like have another? I only have those.
I did. Yesterday, I tested myself because I was a little warm, and I thought, oh shit, I'm gonna go to this restaurant and they're gonna take my temperature.
Yeah, too.
So I was like, okay, do I just do this test? But then I forgot because we have the tests at home, so I could have just taken the test and gone.
Right.
But then it turns out that they've stopped doing that now. They've stopped taking temperatures because I'd have been like, I just have a cold. Kind
Right.
of that's it. It's not anything like
I
that interesting. It's just a cold. It's just snot.
Yeah, I felt like I was like all of the if I'm on anything reading about the day's news of how many
Yeah,
people have tested positive or how many people have passed away,
yeah.
um, just being bombarded with like these numbers as the first. Hello, here's information. Start your day. Um, More people are
No,
dead
don't
and more
do.
people are
Oh
dying.
God,
All right,
yeah.
welcome back to the news.
No.
Like
I
great.
refuse. I
Like
refuse. I think if I think I was always kind of a person, kind of. It's very much my personality to live in my own little bubble.
mhm.
So I think I've always been equipped to live in my own little bubble. So like this whole COVID thing definitely has me in my own little bubble, kind of going, oh, I know
Yeah,
how to do this. What?
I,
I'm in my bubble. Go away.
that's the answer. Like a long time coming from the original question. Like that's what I do is just don't talk.
Yeah.
Like, and for me, it's really hard. I'm a social, especially
Yeah.
especially especially
Absolutely.
audible. I'm a
Yeah.
socially audible animal.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I want to use my voice. I want to have my voice turn into your voice. I want to do that back and forth,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
and
yeah,
and I want the words to tangle and mix, and
yeah. Have
it
that interaction, man. Yeah.
it wouldn't be the same
Totally.
unless everybody were involved, and because of it, it's always braided, stronger than one rope, and
Right.
this this is the magic. This is the I don't even know what to call it. That's the magic of what life looks like to me. And
Yeah.
if time is just going to be spent on figuring out, do we agree on these four little things that they got us debating over,
Yeah, that's so
and
lame. Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah,
and then if like let's do that first, and if we get hung up on any of them, let's not
yeah.
do anything else.
I know. So, like, I
that's
totally
that's
I
the truth,
was
right?
out to dinner with my friends last night, and I know for a fact we all have different opinions about all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what was really nice
It's
about it
healthy.
is because we hadn't seen each other in ages, like
Mm-hmm.
years, and
Right.
it was just about, you know, we talked about everything else, but we talked about, kind of life, what you're up to. Someone had a new job, had moved into a new home, kind of exploring. She lived, another one moved outside of London and she's a nurse and like she still comes into London to work, but she's kind of discovering actually I don't have to live in the city anymore. Like there's life outside of London. And then,
Mm-hmm.
there's this whole conversation of, yeah, a lot of people are realizing that. A lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
because they were forced to work from home and they're like, wait a second, there's life outside of coming into this city and doing stuff. And even if you live in London, there's life out. We're discovering there's life outside of the city that you can go live too.
Right.
So it was just there's just so much more to talk about. I'm not saying that these subjects aren't important,
Mm-hmm.
but saying that um, they don't have to define um, your relationship with people. I think
Mm-hmm.
because like I said, my best friend in the world is like full on conspiracy lady,
Mm-hmm.
um, and I'm just not gonna go there with her. I'm a I love you, but no.
There's like I feel like these whatever four big character flaws we have between us all now. Um,
Yeah,
I, if you can just lump that into like a one bucket,
yeah.
I can't be bothered to have this conversation with my friends because I
Like
don't.
over and over again.
I love
Or can
you.
you not just have it once? Like, can you not just have it like one time and then say,
Yeah,
okay, let's have it one time and let me just see where you're all at. Okay, okay, we're there. Excellent. Moving on
yeah.
swiftly. You know,
Like
like
I
it's
know
just
at the beginning, at the beginning of that conversation, I know where I'll be at the end, which is I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, and I want you to do what you need to do,
what
and I'm
you're
gonna
gonna
love you.
do. Yeah,
I'm
man,
gonna love you,
absolutely.
and
Yeah.
I'm gonna expect you to love me,
Yeah.
and if
Oh,
you're
don't expect nobody to do nothing.
well, I'm going to
Don't
expect
expect people to fuck your shit up.
like if we're really gonna have this conversation, I'm gonna expect a respectful level of respect, and
Right.
like you said, like there's just we're not gonna do that the other way.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
not doing this
I would
disrespectfully.
hope we would. Yeah. I would hope we could do it. I would hope that we've known each other long enough to do it respectfully.
I
And I'm like,
I just
I'm,
won't.
yeah.
Like right
I think
now.
it depends who you are. Like, I have no issue with being wrong. Like,
Mhm.
I'm not. I don't have to be
There's
right all the time because my experience of life is not having the privilege of knowing everything and being the smartest one in the room. So I have no issue with not being wrong. Sometimes I am the smartest one in the room, but
right.
it's not the main experience that I have. So therefore, I'm not hung up on having to be right. So if I'm
Mm-hmm.
wrong, it's okay,
I'm
and
gonna
I think
go ahead.
no, just I think that that helps me a lot be able to say, okay, you do you, and
Mm-hmm.
be able to honestly do that because I think
Mm-hmm.
when I was younger, it was more a case of um now I can honestly say you do you with all my heart and I'm not
Mm-hmm.
going to feel away about that. But before, when I was younger, it was more I'm going to stay out of your business because I don't want you in mine. So it was more of
Mm.
a protective mechanism on my account. It was like I'm going to
The,
stay out your business, and then you don't have any business being in my business because I'm not in yours. Bye bye.
you were trying to golden rule them. You can't care about my stuff because I don't care about yours.
Exactly. Yes.
uh,
But you don't get
I,
to have fulfilling relationships like that.
but that is one place to be, and I feel like that's a uh, one of the healthier places that I feel like I've trying to hold is
Right.
is that you do whatever you want, man, but don't give a fuck about what I do because it's none of your fucking business. and 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 love that I give you that respect. I feel like that respect is the ultimate respect,
Yes.
and how that ultimate respect, this ultimate freedom, respect of you can do whatever you want as long as you don't like say nothing bad about the ladies and act a fool. You get shot down for that shit, but if you otherwise respectfully go about your business, you can disagree all you want.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
you
yeah,
can be
yeah,
loud about it, but you can't be disrespectful about it.
yeah,
And
yeah.
and
But can we
there's
get to
something
that
lost
place?
there.
So can we get to that place? I would love it if we could get to that place as
This
humanity.
this social media world, the whatever we're doing right now, sharing behind the curtain and
Yeah,
having moments. It's the most amazing thing that we've ever seen.
true.
It's already been used to set us apart and divide us in so many
Yeah,
ways
yeah,
that
yeah, yeah.
we must like it's not lost on me. I see it all the time these days where it says you can't fix a problem with the same thinking that created it,
Yes.
any version of that. And,
Yes.
you know, the thinking, the level of the state, the come from, the consciousness,
Yeah.
whatever you're talking about, like that
It is
gets to
shifting. There's definitely a shift.
that. I mean, the thoughts elevate and then the actions change. And,
Yes.
but it's in that order. I don't have to be the smartest person in the room to just plug into the truth.
Yeah.
And the when the thoughts change, then it's even greater chance that the actions change. But
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. Yeah.
until the thoughts change, the actions will remain the same.
Yeah.
Most
Yeah.
there's
I think
just
the
no.
thing I like about this social media space we're experiencing, um, like everybody, there are so many people out there
Mhm.
just talking, you know, and sharing and giving their opinions, kind of whether you like it or not, and um, and that you don't have to like it really, because if you don't like it, you don't listen, or you can just write some shit in the comments, whatever. But I think it's a space. I think there's something to be said of the space in the world right now where people are just saying what's on their mind
Mm.
instead of walking around like the thoughts are being um you know the thoughts are audible, kind of, and it's all kinds of thoughts are audible.
It's well, everything that people want to share gets shared. So that's a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah,
And
yeah, yeah. It is
there's
a lot,
not.
and I know some people. I remember having a conversation with my friend on Friday that I went out to lunch with, and she was like, "Why does everybody feel that they have to share everything all the time?"
There's a
And I was
new
like, "That's space. Like, you don't have to. I don't think everybody feels like they have to share. It just seems that way
there's a new
because there's
pattern.
more of us doing it than there's
There's
ever been ever in
but
the world ever.
there's like this new pattern of, and it's shifted over the last 10, 12 years. Like we've really had social media in proper social media way for like 14, 15 years. So Facebook
Mm,
came around like 2007,
right. Yeah.
2006 if you were a student.
Yeah.
So 2005 if you were a student. But say
Yeah.
2007 it got mainstream and it's been 14 years.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
in
I
short
don't
amount
think
of
I got
time,
on it. Yeah, it is a short amount of time. Yeah.
I mean, a, a blink of an eye ago, it was 7 years ago, and it was only 7 years
Yeah.
old.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
but that platform and all these other platforms are this connective fiber that bring us together these days. Um, we've already used them without. We didn't get a, a, a manual or a brochure
Yeah.
or
Yeah. Totally. It was just
suggestions.
like, here you go.
Like
Yeah. Totally.
hey kids, here's some free internet and no regulations or suggestions
Yeah.
whatsoever.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Like
Just
all right, like the
there.
immediately like the internet is up for 180 hours, and the first uh the what do you call it, I read a long time ago that the code that was originally written to take like Visa, MasterCard processing
Uh-huh.
over the internet. That original code, I guess, most of the time code gets improved upon and improved upon. Well, the code
Yeah.
to do payment processing on the internet, the first code that was written is like the perfect code. So it's code that just gets used
Oh
over and
wow.
over. So it still gets used to this day. You just copy paste this code. It's the proper way to code it. And
Oh. Uh-huh.
um, the first thing to be sold over the internet was porn. This is the reason why it was coded, was so that the porn could be sold. It wasn't coded so that things could be sold on the internet. It was coded
Okay.
because, well, we have people who want to give money for the porn. We need to make the internet charge them money to figure it out. So like it didn't get coded so that one day they could sell something. It's like, no, we
Yeah.
have porn to sell and the money is waiting for us to code it.
That is brilliant. That's oh man, humanity.
Uh,
Wow.
and it's like this perfect
Honestly,
code that's still scripted and
that's
copied
still
and
right. Yeah.
for whatever purpose that we use now.
Mm.
Uh, but that innovation and that like drive to just like debase everything, like we didn't get the brochure or the suggestion tips for community standards. And
Yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah. We just figured it out as we went along and still figuring it out now. And then you would think that, yeah, I don't know. You would think that as we all know that we're just figuring it out as we go along, that people
it's
would be a little kinder maybe, but no.
it's it's like second to fifth grade bathroom behavior,
Yeah, totally.
but fifth grade
Absolutely.
and
If you're
down.
writing shit on the wall and everybody goes nuts. Yeah,
Dude, like
totally.
10 year
Yeah.
olds smoking
Like the
cigarettes,
glorious
like
Technicolor. Yeah.
the girls got a fight club going, like everybody put your hair in a ponytail, no hair pulling, no hair pulling. Like this serious stuff, but you go
Amazing.
like
Yeah.
no hitting in the face, no hair pulling. Like
Oh
man, And
That's
I see
brilliant.
these things like I'm being serious where I'm looking at 5, 7, whatever amount of kids like having a little fight club in the bathroom because there's nothing else to do. Like I got when I was in say high school, there were so many things to do that I would it was like people would stumble upon me doing something for the community or with the community, building community, and someone would go, here's a trophy or an award for doing nice things. I caught you again doing nice things. And
I
like
know.
this, I had friends that this would happen to them too. We would run into each
Yeah.
other at the awardee things because
What do you think?
we were always doing award level things. I like
Excellent.
I just didn't think it was weird to be the kid to go to the old folks home twice a month and talk to people for an hour.
Yeah.
It
No.
seems like the thing that 14-year-olds that are excelling in life that's what they would do. Like
Yeah. Nice.
go remind old people that like some of us are still young and
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
makes them
There's
happy.
an amazing organization in Holland somewhere.
In Holland?
Yeah, where they've
Mm-hmm.
actually in their building they've combined a old people's home
Mm-hmm.
with an orphanage, with a children's orphanage.
Nice.
Yeah, and they said it's been like a enormous success
Mm-hmm.
because it gives kind of these elders connected to
Mm-hmm.
these young people that inspire them with their energy and
Mm-hmm.
and their bright-eyed young, oh, life is amazing,
Right.
and then these young people being connected to these elders that
That's
they
nice.
wouldn't have been connected to otherwise because they don't have family. So it's a really amazing project. A really
That's
amazing
nice.
project. Yeah, yeah. That was one of my documentary binges.
Ah,
I think I'm going to spend a lot of my life lately talking about my documentary business binges. I'll get topics from them.
like when life is as nice as it can get, I think it's documentary binges and charitable efforts, and that's just we go back and forth all day. What else did you watch? What else did you raise money for? All
Oh
right,
wow, loads. I'm gonna bring mum up all the time.
that's that's
There,
the
okay. So Leon just reminded me to tell you about the penis one, and we'll end on that note.
this is a
There
charity.
is a Channel 4 documentary called My Penis. Is it my? Is it called My Penis? Why are you asking me? You're the one who watched it, Mom. You watched it. He wouldn't let me finish watching it. He just came and slammed my computer. What are you doing? What are you doing, mother? And just went, no, you can't watch that.
Because you had it on speaker.
No, I just had it on. Yeah, I had it just on my laptop open and I was watching it. He was like, "What are you watching?" Oh,
That's funny. Too
it's a
funny.
fantastic documentary. Men from all walks of life, and it's about breaking those taboos of male sexuality. And what's the big deal? Because in ancient times there were statues all over the place about showing men's genitalia in all its glory, and
Hmm.
it wasn't a big deal. And how did we come from that level of celebration to this level of like shame and
Mm,
so it was really interesting. And it's a photographer that basically it's his mission to put beautiful images out there that redefine retell the story of
mm.
the penis, and I thought it was brilliant. And I have to go watch the rest of it because my son wouldn't let me. I was like, you can come watch it with me. It would be a really interesting thing for you
Sure.
to learn.
That,
No,
no,
no, mommy, no.
that's funny. Not this one.
Not this one. Yeah, we
Reserve
can be
mommy
open. We
cub
can
time
talk
for
about
a
all
different
kinds of things
show.
about that different shows, the no penis shows.
Good one.
Oh
That's
my
great.
god! So there
That's a
you
great
go.
spot.
It's a good spot to end our hour, right?
Yeah, great spot. With
Well,
that,
thank you so much,
keep living
Joseph, as
life.
always. Yeah, what else is there to do? You got to keep
Yeah,
living life. It's
exactly.
it's as beautiful as we allow it to be,
Hmm. That's
right?
true. I'll see you here Tuesday.
Yes, and we'll see what we get to talk about. Who knows?
Hmm.
Who
Big hugs to
knows? Bye,
Leon.
bye.